Yay, puns.
Hey,
I
Internet.
love puns.
It's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Welcome to Paradise Academy, Season 2 of our Welcome to Paradise, Michigan Kids on Bikes RPG campaign. This is Season 2, Episode 32. The first cracks begin to appear. And in just a few moments, we'll get into the game proper. First up, if you take a look up above M and Tomiko, you will notice some bomb pops. We call them domain pops, terrain treats, domain pops. +1 to fun. Domain pops are this campaign's domain dice. They are a way that you, the viewer, can have an impact on the game simply by subscribing, resubscribing, gifting subs, cheering 500 bits, tipping $5, supporting through Ko-fi, whatever it takes. We'll earn domain pops for the players. They can use those essentially as adversity tokens in the Kids on Bike system to add +1 to any dice rolls for however many pops they spend, or they can spend 5 of them to make themselves or anybody else roll on the D100 mystery grab bag table. Rumor has it there may be in the works a Game Master specific table, since people have been requesting that. So we'll stay tuned for that, see what happens with that. I did, in talking with Tomiko about it recently, I said I should not ever be able to see that table, just like you guys don't get to see the other table.
Who is the keeper of the table then?
Who do you think? It's probably going to be the note, our scribe.
Tomiko.
It's got to be Tomiko. But
don't leave me in charge of important shit like that, man.
Or we could roll it into my I have a massive spreadsheet of all the Kids on Bike stuff and just have everything blacked out, and then when I roll I can actually mouse over something and unblack it out to see what it actually is.
I already said I'd put the organize the table and share it with the players, so it's good.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Not gonna derail anything at all ever, I'm sure. I mean, listen, the D100 table is why currently Oak is being stalked by a animatronic pizza
Chuck E.
chain
Cheese.
mouse. Chuck E. Chase, the non-copyright infringing
Yes.
Charles E. Chase.
Legally distinct. Yes.
The E does not stand for entertainment, it stands for Eldritch.
Oh God. Amazing.
So so those are of course domain pops. And in addition, when you subscribe and gift sub and all that stuff, you move our sub goal up. We're at 42 of 50 currently. I forgot to reset it for the month, so I guess we'll just stick with what it is. And then if we hit that goal, we'll bump it up a little bit. Of course, all of that just goes to support the channel and help us to continue to have awesome overlays and interactive elements and whatnot. Speaking of awesome overlays and interactive elements, I'm going to promote Jeremy right now. Check out technically Jeremy and Chad, as well as the other amazing players. Last night, Jeremy ran the first session of The Last Train to Eidolon, an Aether Nexus saga trilogy that is an official Absolute Tabletop sponsored game celebrating the release on Tuesday of Aether Nexus. I believe Tomiko or Jeremy or somebody, !AbTab, I believe is a link to their store. Maybe not. I'll have to check. It might have gotten disabled. But you can go check out, if somebody wants to drop the link into Aether Nexus, that'd be great. Jeremy ran the first session of a trilogy. It was awesome. I saw like 85% of it, and I'm going to watch the rest of it this weekend. And the great thing is there's 2 more episodes. And we've been, I don't want to in any way take any steam away from Jeremy, but in November, we are going to be running a trilogy of our own right here on Mini Terrain Domain. And I can tell you, one of the players is here in this game with us. Because we haven't announced players yet, so I'll let you figure out who that is. But we'll have more information as we get things situated. I want to wait until Jeremy's done with his so I can steal all the good stuff that he did. And no, absolutely check out Erasmus Expeditions on YouTube. Jeremy always runs an amazing games, and this is no different. And Aether Nexus is a pretty unique and pretty cool system, and it's currently I don't know where it's sitting today, but it's up in the top 10 on Drive-Thru RPG.
As of yesterday, it was number 3.
Yeah, I know. Last night
yesterday
it was
number 3.
So
cow. That's dare I say
right
top 5.
Oh,
Perhaps
yeah.
even top 3.
There you go. So yeah, definitely check that out. Actually, one of our players is in chat too, for that upcoming game. We are adults playing teenagers and students and teachers and whatever other horrors I present before you. You may occasionally hear graphic depictions of violence, intense dramatic roleplay, sensitive topics that include but are not limited to divorce, bullying, alcohol and substance use and abuse, and more. If that's something that doesn't appeal to you, please feel free to take care of yourself and leave the stream, because it is clearly not for you. But do know that we around this virtual table have had session zeros, so we've got safety tools in place, we've established our lines and veils, and all of that in the interest of making sure that everybody stays safe at the game table. We encourage you to use safety tools in your own games as well. There's a couple links in the chat. You can check those out. Also, speaking of links in the chat, Tamiko has once again dropped the link for bingo cards. They're just for fun, but check them out. And
Ooh, I like we can pin messages in chat now. That's
you
kind of
can
cool.
play along. Yeah, the bingo card is pinned. So I think the last thing I want to say before we get started is the ever important reminder that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether you believe it or not, it is true. There are any number of reasons that anything could either have you struggling, or for whatever reason you just need somebody to talk to. It doesn't matter what the reason is. But sometimes the hardest part is knowing how to get started. We've tried to make that a little easier. All you got to do is come in the chat and type !help, or you can check along the bottom of the stream. But if you do type that in, a couple of URLs will show up. Please do check out findahelpline.com, or you can check out the growing list of resources at takethis.org. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I would like to welcome you all to Paradise Academy. Most recently, after the longest weekend of your lives, you finally are getting back to the relative normalcy of school. It's Monday. It's a rainy Monday. And not too much weird has happened. There's been a couple of weird instances. Laz found a very peculiar page of a notebook from his mother's apparent naming of their forthcoming album, naming it The Jealous Mirror, and a set list of tracks for that album that seem to identify not only each one of them, but in the same alphanumeric code that the Nexus project uses. Additionally, Rosie decided to take a look at a 3.5-inch floppy disk that she stole from her mother's purse. And while finding out that what was on the disk in terms of a directory, also realizing that in the few minutes or so she thought that she was reviewing the disk, the entire class period had gone by. And so Rosie did not have much time to really get into it. Jessica's trying to get settled back into the school routine, hoping that too many people don't notice that there's a change in demeanor. Though, regardless of whether the person of Jessica is the one that is actually there, many people don't see any change, particularly Meredith Haas, who anytime she looks at Jessica, it's with dagger eyes. And then there's Oak and Coop. They just wanted to go to school, riding their bikes, get their learning on. They had no idea that when they rode past One Man's Junk Antique Shop, that a very animatronic mouse, I guess we call it a rat, what have you, from a well-known pizza chain, children's pizza chain, has decided to lock on and start stalking them. Particularly Oak. Laz and Billy have gone to class to particularly at we're going to jump to fourth period, where we are going to pick the game up here in a moment. We're going to fourth period AP Chemistry, noting that their usual workstation partners, Victor and Victoria Van Houten, where they normally would sit, are 2 empty seats. But more notable than that was the absence of Mr. Bunsen. And moments after noticing that, you hear the door close, you hear the hard-soled clicks of shoes on the floor as the substitute teacher walks to the front of the room, grabs a piece of chalk, and writes in large letters as he says, "Mr. Bunsen couldn't be here today, so I will be your substitute teacher. I am Mr. Algernon." And he turns around and locks eyes on Billy and Laz.
Oh.
He takes barely a glance, so quick that it's you might believe that it's just for show, Laz. He glances at the grade book and says, "Mr. Eccles, Dr. Sharp would like to see you in the vice principal's office now."
You know what? That's actually, I think, the first time I've ever heard that and felt relieved. He gathers up his stuff, throws like his backpack on his
Before you
shoulder,
leave,
Thank God.
Before you leave, I'm gonna need a grit check from you.
Ooh, all right.
As I need to do something I've not really had to do yet.
While Jake dips his toe into this new thing, check us out on teespring.com. At teespring.com, we have all kinds of great t-shirts like the one I'm wearing and so many more. You can get it on, and the one Jeremy's wearing too. You can get it on t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, mugs, and stickers, and all kinds of other great stuff. Teespring.com. Just follow the link in the description for this video.
I did not like that.
Possibly new designs coming soon.
I don't know why,
Indeed.
but I did not like that segue.
Sorry. I do my best. They're not all
dips
gems.
his toe into this new thing. Wait, what? That completely derailed me, and I didn't.
Listen,
I
man.
barely did what I was supposed to do.
Listen,
We don't kink shame here.
everybody strikes out sometimes. Can't all be home runs, bud.
We're gonna say. Okay. Actually, I don't need to do that now that I think about it. All right, so I need you to roll a grit check.
14.
Okay. One.
One.
4.
It's fucking Algernon using powers on me? This motherfucker.
Does Algernon get a free powers dice like we did? A non-migraine
hurt
dice?
yourself.
That is a 6 that just explodes. So that's 10.
Wow.
No.
15. So
Force
What I
pretty
would-
steep, though.
what I would like from you, Laz, as you are gathering your stuff up and preparing to leave, as Mr. Algernon tells you to go to the vice principal's office, what is a memory of a time you got in trouble for something that it's one of the things that you lie awake at night thinking about? And then how is it so much worse?
Ooh, shit.
How is what so much worse? This moment?
The memory. So the memory surfaces unbidden immediately,
Sure.
giving you all of those feelings of anytime you think about this memory, but they're
Okay.
amplified in some way.
I see. Okay. I think there was a time when he was younger that he stood up for a friend of his and took the blame for something that his friend actually did. Said that he had done it, got into trouble, and I think while he was paying the price, detention or something to that effect, that it actually allowed his friend to go and do something far, far worse, and somebody got hurt. And he blames himself for that. Some twisted sense of guilt.
So what is it that makes this memory that much worse in this moment? The memory, as it surfaces, you feel the same nervousness, anxiety, that gnawing pit in your stomach that you do whenever it comes up. But this time when it comes up, it's as if it locks in. It won't sink back below the surface, and somehow it just keeps amplifying itself.
I think in this iteration, or at least this moment, that memory is actually changed. And the person that ended up getting hurt is actually Oak, and it's like his leg. And so, like, and it's such a visceral, such a real change that I don't think Laz is able to really completely discount it as, mind fuckery.
Damn.
And for a moment, as you turn to leave the class, as a result of having to spend 3 power tokens, Mr. Algernon cannot contain the 100% anime style, slightly tipping his head, and the almost ear-to-ear sinister grin that crosses his face before he catches himself.
Oh my god. Fuck. No, I hate it. It's like nightmare fuel.
And you hear, as you leave the classroom, "Today, class, we will be deviating from the lesson plan. We will be talking about rats and mazes." And that's where you close the door behind you and head down the hall.
When he turned to address the rest of the crowd, Laz absolutely gave him a double finger as he backed up.
Rosie, looks like you got the highest roll, so you will be going next.
Oh boy.
So Rosie,
I'm in American Lit.
You are in American Lit, 4th period. American Lit. Are you in that class with anybody?
Jimmy and Claire, but Claire's not here.
Notably, Claire is missing. And Jimmy's actually out too, but you know why Jimmy's out.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy busted his leg pretty bad.
Both, right?
Was it both?
He's got both 2 broken legs.
That's right.
Well, at least he should. That's why he
One
didn't
from
fucking
one
take me to the
incident,
dance.
and then one from another. So yeah, it's like
That's right, yeah.
catch a break.
So help me
And
God, if that fucker shows up with a healthy leg, we're gonna have a problem.
They were bad enough that he was going to be needing pins and surgeries and metal plates and whatnot. So yeah, you are the seats nearby you are empty. But you are in class with Mrs. Whitman.
Oh, go ahead.
You can see and hear that this is one of the classrooms that faces towards the front of the school. And you can see and hear that the rain is coming down heavily outside. Every once in a while you get that sort of rush. I know if I try to do it it'll get noise gated, but that, when the wind picks up momentarily and the rain just drums extra hard against the window, that keeps happening. What are you doing during this class period? I imagine, at least for the first part of the class, Mrs. Whitman is probably discussing. I have no idea what she's discussing.
The Outsiders, of course.
Oh yeah, The Outsiders. Yeah, you're at the right grade. That Outsiders would be your. The words "Stay Golden, Pony Boy" are maybe one of the few things you hear unless you're paying attention. What's Rosie thinking about or doing during class here?
I think Rosie's trying especially hard to stay focused on class. She has her book out and her notebook out and is trying to take notes on whatever Mrs. Whitman is saying. But this whole big blow up just happened at lunch, and then there's the rain, and then Jimmy and Claire are both gone, and her thoughts kind of drift back to everything that happened in the lab. And Rosie really feels like her world is kind of falling apart, and so she's really, really trying to just sort of escape into school and focus on the book.
Make me a Your choice, brains or grit check.
I'll do grit. Here I go. It's gonna be great. No, it's not. It's a 2. Not very gritty today, which stands to reason with everything I just said.
First, partway through class, and probably what kind of shakes you a little bit to where you glance down at your notes is you hear that sort of shifting as people are changing what book they're looking at. Mrs. Whitman has wrapped up her discussion of The Outsiders, and people are pulling out their mimeographed study guide papers and preparing to go through the study guide discussion questions, which is something that she does pretty periodically as preparation for the tests that'll be coming up. You glance down at your notes and you see that instead of notes that have anything to do with class, you see that you have written directory :c:/nexus_project/iteration/002/ readme.txt.
Oh god.
I_it, and you've basically written out from memory the entire directory structure of that disk that you looked at.
Rosie like blinks for a second and looks down and kind of like shakes her head a little bit. I don't know, like assuming it's like an Etch-a-Sketch, and then she starts to like, because her memory is pretty good, but only like for certain things, not dorky stuff like floppy disks and such, like, you know, important things like the Tigers starting lineup and stuff like that. So I think that this is obviously pretty concerning to her, and I think she just kind of like sees it, and she would like rip it out and like crinkle it up and toss it across the room towards the trash can where it goes in, of course.
I was almost going to make you roll for that.
Come on, but this is my thing.
You're literally an athlete. I'm not going to make you roll for that.
I'm on the basketball team.
As you do that, and you start to also reach down to your backpack to put your book away and pull out your study guide, as you open up your backpack, you hear what immediately sounds a little bit like a buzzing sound coming from your backpack.
Shit, I forgot to put my phone in my locker.
Not that kind of buzzing.
Oh.
It takes a moment for you to realize it's that faint, tinny sound of music coming through headphone speakers. You hear from in your backpack, your Walkman is playing Blue Monday.
Oh, badass. Okay.
And you can see the Walkman, and you can see that in the Walkman is that Blue and White Monday tape from when you played it before. And you can see it moving as the song Blue Monday is coming through the speaker.
So, if you'll allow me, and I think that while we're working on our study guides, I think Mrs. Whitman probably needs a cigarette break right about now, so she just kind of leaves us sometimes to do our work. And
I'll say what happens is give me 1 second. Give me one second.
Sure.
Because first of all, it's important to note in this situation it's Mrs. Whitman.
Oh, did I say Miss Whitman? I apologize.
It is
Kids call me Mrs. Schultens all the time. I know they don't know the difference, so it's just like whatever, man.
It is we'll say Mr. Butler, the geometry teacher, walks by and kind of he just stops momentarily outside the class window, and he goes like this. And that's when she kind of did the switcheroo to the study guides and everything, and was like,
okay.
Yeah, you guys know what you need to do, and Claire will.
Oh, wow. Ooh, too soon.
She starts to call on Claire, who's her usual teacher's pet, to keep an eye on things. Let me turn real quick to my random NPC generator. And we will introduce... Oh, I've got a goody-goody right here. Parker Crawford.
Parker Crawford, what a dork.
Parker Crawford is a goody-goody. Parker will let me know if you stay on task. Parker sits up a little bit in her seat, pushes her glasses up, and Mrs. Whitman leaves the classroom. You know you've got a good 10 to 15 minutes.
Rosie kind of leans back in her seat and looks down at her study guide, and she like looks in her backpack again at this Walkman, and I think she would just like put on her headphones and just start listening, like not like rebelling against the instructions on this tape, but just sort of to listen to music. She assumes it's probably just music.
Yeah, as you put it on, you hear
Love Blue Monday.
The I've completely blanked on the lyrics. Something about how do I feel?
How does it feel to treat me like you do when you lay your hands upon me?
Right, I think that's about all we can safely do, but
that was less than 10 seconds. Well done, Tamiko.
So you hear that playing, and then after about, I would say the song plays in its entirety. And the next song that comes up is another song about Mondays.
Is that the Carpenter?
Tell me why I don't like Mondays.
Is that the one by the Boomtown Rats?
Yes.
Manic Monday. That's a good one.
But the Bengals Manic Monday. But the Boomtown Rats, I Don't Like Mondays, comes up. And the song only plays the first verse. And then you hear the sound. It sounds like somebody physically turns off a tape player in a room. You can hear that little bit of room noise. And then you hear a voice that says, "Don't make any sudden moves. Just pretend like you're still listening to music and you're still studying." This voice I'm going to first tell you why it sounds familiar, and then I'm going to ask you a question. We, the audience, immediately recognize this voice. Rosie does not recognize this voice. Carrie, it is your voice that is coming over this tape.
Oh, shit. Okay.
What
okay.
metagame knowledge do you tell Rosie over this tape? This is a recorded message.
Okay. Shit. I guess I would probably tell Rosie. About Victor and Victoria's plot about killing their parents. I guess that'd probably be what, like, the first thing this Carrie would think to tell, like, powerful information. I guess knowledge is power kind of thing, and I would drop that on Rosie, I guess.
Excellent. Yeah, you take a few minutes and you kind of explain, sort of in a way that Rosie understands that you have extra knowledge about what happened. Like, you seem to fully understand where everybody was and who everybody is.
I talk to teenagers for a living. I'm really good at this. Listen.
I think there's also a moment or two, at least once, where you slip up and you say one of the other players' names rather than their character's name.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. I'd be like, yeah, and she tried to talk to Jeremy about it too, Laz about it too, and it was a whole freaking thing. And like, oh, you just listen. You just got to pay attention. You got to pay attention, both of them, and you got to pay attention to Billy and Laz. Also, just they're up to something. They're up to no good.
The last thing that you would tell Rosie is the iteration is beginning to disintegrate. And then the tape ends. You hear the click when the tape reaches the end. And it's loud enough that you see Parker's head go and she looks right at you and kind of through thick brown glasses just kind of glares at you, and you see her jotting a note down on her notepad.
I give Parker a dirty look, and
Fucking
I like I roll my eyes. And I'm like, this wouldn't be the first time me and Mrs. Whitman butt heads, but made a new enemy on my enemies list. And I think Rosie does like take her headphones off at that point, and just like she's trying to look like she's working, but she can't. Like, there's a lot going on right now. Holy shit. Who the fuck was that? She has an amazing voice, but goddamn, that was weird.
I'm still
she
just
should do radio.
I can tell from the voice she sounds so talented and attractive.
Wow.
I'm impressed.
And yet, who?
there was a point where I debated trying to have you record certain lines.
Oh my god!
And I could not think of a way to do it that wouldn't tip my hand.
Yeah, that would be tough. But
wow. The reaction was sufficiently
the way you did it was pretty
the way
fucking
it was done,
cool.
So.
Damn. Okay, so Rosie has some insider info now and is like very nervous.
Let's see. That's M. Jessica is up next. Jessica, you, during fourth period, or honestly it can be whichever period you want, because we're sort of loosely in the afternoon. I know you have photography fourth period, you have psych fifth period, and gym last period. What class are you in, and what's going on?
Probably photography.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine they're probably learning about like the rule of thirds or something. I imagine it's not like a strictly like they're not dealing with the cameras, but more of like a theory class, which is exceptionally boring.
The reason it's exceptionally boring is you were supposed to be going outside today around the school grounds and taking photographs. And so as a fallback, Mr. McDowell has sort of gone back to go on a bit more than he's droning on in the way that you can tell he was not planning to have to do a lesson today. This breaks his overall period more so than usual. He's holding the piece of chalk in his hand like a cigarette, and he at one point he literally puts the chalk between his lips and it just dangles there like a cigarette as he grabs another piece of chalk to draw the grid diagram and explaining rule of thirds. He's so lost in what he's trying to do that a handful of people are not really paying attention and are talking to one another. That's when you realize that once again you feel those eyes on you. Because I'm pretty sure Meredith has this class with you as well.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, no, she does for
Yeah.
sure. Jessica is very interested once again in her in her notebook, as she is furiously like sketching doodles in it, trying to avoid the hot iron stare of Meredith. And she just continues to doodle after doodle. I imagine that the teacher's talking has kind of droned into nothing but like this like whine in her head.
I would like you to make a grit or actually, you know what? I'm gonna have you do an opposed charm check. This is gonna be prom royalty facing off against popular kid. So they're probably both D20 charm.
Oh.
I don't know. Are you a D20 charm?
I am, yeah.
Let's
This
see.
is like the end of an episode of Power Rangers. This is like frickin' popular kid, prom queen. This is
D20
tough.
charm.
Yeah, I got a 14 is what I rolled.
So, okay. Whoops.
Oh crap. Shit.
Or no.
The whole time, you keep trying to ignore Meredith. Except this time, Meredith is not taking her eyes off of you. Every time you turn away, you can feel this white hot iron stare. And it's occupying your every thought as the end of class gets closer. You realize that not only is she staring at you, but she has her right hand is sitting sort of on top of the desk, and you can see her knuckles are white as she's making a fist so tight. And you actually see at one point, as she shifts her hand, you see a small trickle of blood from her fingernails piercing the skin of her palm. The bell rings, and class is over. Do you try to get out ahead of Meredith, or do you wait to see if Meredith leaves first?
Jessica wants to keep all eyes on Meredith, so she's going to wait until she leaves. She doesn't really want to let Meredith out of her sight.
So you know how when the bell goes off, there's that mad rush of everybody grabbing their stuff, and it's somehow within 12 seconds, the class empties?
Yep.
We see Jessica and Meredith just sort of facing off in their respective seats as everybody's getting up. And it's not until the last person leaves that Meredith stands up, grabs her belongings, and only then does she take her eyes off you as she crosses the room, walks out the door, and turns left.
Jessica lets out the breath that she has been holding that entire time that after the bell rang. She is kind of starting to rethink her decision not to talk to Meredith. Because she feels like this is just like getting worse and worse and not, but she still doesn't feel like it's right to impose that on Meredith yet for now, but she is worried, so she slowly collects all of her books and items and slowly makes her way out of the classroom.
Trying to find the photography. Okay, photography is in the basement level.
Oh, good. Go to the basement. That's probably safe.
Great.
And it looks like when you leave the photography class, you can only go left, because if you go right, that goes outside. So you...
Yeah, like she's not gonna try and avoid Meredith. Yeah. Like she is gonna, yeah.
I was gonna give you the choice, and then I realized the photography lab is in the corner of the basement. When you walk out of class, you turn left, and you collide with what feels like a brick wall. I would like you to make a very low DC flight check just to see if you keep your balance.
9.
You bounce back off this wall, stagger just a moment, and the size of the person standing in front of you is basically like one of the linemen from the football team. But it's not. It's Roberta Warner. All 6'2", 220 pounds of her. And it's mostly muscle. Roberta is one of the farm kids.
Mm-hmm.
She's wearing overalls. She's wearing a green sweatshirt. One of those, it's not like a hooded sweatshirt or anything. It's just a green, no logos or anything. She's got the sleeves rolled up. She's got thick auburn hair that's kind of wavy, but is pulled back, and she has like a blue bandana, sort of like covering it. And standing beside her is Meredith.
Oh god, Jessica's gonna die. This is it.
Do you say or do anything as you bounce off of Roberta?
Jessica is gonna try to like sidestep Roberta, like not say anything, but like just kind of keep her body, like keep her posture held high and upright, and it's just gonna like try and move past Roberta.
As you move to the right to try to go around her, she sidesteps and is blocking your path.
Did they say anything as Jessica looks to Meredith? She doesn't look to Roberta. She looks. Does Meredith say anything? Because if she doesn't, then Jessica will say something, but she'd wait for Meredith.
I'm going to check the stat block real quick for Roberta to see. Let's see, dedicated farmer.
Can I also say another dynamic I love between Jessica and Anne is Jessica's power is very avoidant, like going through objects, very like defensive, and Anne's is very like offensive, like straight up strength.
Jessica goes through objects and goes through objects.
Yes. Through with the capital T.
Okay, I'm going to make a brains check for Roberta. It's a low DC, but Roberta has a D6. Roberta needs to roll a 5 or a 6. That's all I'm going to tell you right now.
Oh God!
Roberta rolled a 6. So, whoops. So it explodes. Technically she's already done the thing. So, okay. I wanted to see how far it would go. You see Meredith actually look at Roberta with that look of like, well, what are you waiting for kind of thing. And Roberta just not even the hint of a smile, just stands resolutely in your way and then just turns back to meet Meredith's stare and just kind of nods her head, just a quick jerk of the head in your direction as if to say, this is your moment. So Roberta does not deck you.
Oh, good.
That's if she had rolled a 4 or less, she was going to straight up just punch you.
Oh boy.
Instead, she's acting autonomously and against what Meredith wanted her to do, apparently. So now's your opportunity if you want to say something.
Oh boy, yeah. Jessica takes a deep breath. Meredith, I'm sorry for what I did. To be honest, this isn't an excuse, but I was always really envious of you and what you did and how easy it was for you to talk to people. And Jessica nods and she says, and I hated that about you and I lashed out, and it's something that I can never take back. And I deserve whatever you want. And she looks like very afraid up to Roberta. Whatever you want her to do, if it'll make you feel better, that's all I want. I don't think it will. I just think that we just need to stay out of each other's way. But I wanted to say that I'm sorry. She's getting ready for this punch.
I'm really sorry.
Oh, like, snap. Oh, no. So I'm setting what you have to beat, and I just rolled a 20 on a d20.
Oh no.
Well, uh-oh.
So the DC is 33.
Okay.
Great.
And in this charm versus charm. So basically you know what you need to beat.
33.
So roll your d20, and you can choose after you roll how many, if you want to spend domain tokens or domain pops, because you could explode too. Your die could explode.
I could explode personally.
Hopefully Em doesn't explode.
So to get you out of rolling, you could just explode.
Yeah, right.
Well,
I would recommend it. Okay. I'm rolling a real die because this seems very
wow.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, goodbye. All right. That's a 16.
You need a 17 to match, plus 17 to match,
Yeah.
plus 18 to beat.
I think that, Jessica is going to let that ride. I mean, it's... Yeah.
So you rolled...
What's a split lip between friends?
You rolled a 16, you said.
Yep.
Roberta rolls a 3.
It's a respectable 3.
So
Yeah.
as
Strong 3. Power 3.
you see
Power
that
3.
you lay it out there to Meredith.
Yeah.
And Meredith does you the courtesy of listening.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're done, Meredith, looking you right in the eyes, says, break her nose, Roberta.
Oh, shit. That's a toughie.
Roberta turns in that way that looks like she's cocking her fist back. And she turns to Meredith, and you hear Roberta say, that was a really sincere apology. You're on your own. And she reaches into the front pocket of her overalls and she pulls out a $20 bill and she flicks it at Meredith.
Oh.
And she turns and walks away, leaving you and Meredith. Now, Meredith, for a moment, is looking back like, oh, crap. But she rolled a 33 versus your 16. Meredith is going to... That's weird. Somehow the dice rolled behind one of the elements on
It's
the...
under the Ko-Fi.
Yeah, the layers.
Stuck.
Yeah, that was weird. I need you to roll your brawn, Jessica.
Okay. Oh boy, my brawn is not great. 4.
Oh,
Hey.
you only beat it by 1.
Oh, I exploded.
Oh yeah, wait, yeah.
Oh yeah, wait.
Keep rolling, keep rolling.
Hold
bud.
on.
Yeah,
Beat
wait.
it by a lot. You gotta break her hand again.
No.
Oh, of course not.
Does that mean I get narrative control if I win, or?
Yes, you will get narrative control. But I would like you, even though technically you stop once you beat the DC, you exploded, so I want to see how high you're going to go.
Oh, I only got a 6. I rolled
okay.
a 2, so I
So
got
yeah,
6.
how is it that Meredith, who absolutely has no experience throwing, but this may very well be the first punch Meredith has ever thrown.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that you... Let me not even lead the witness there. What is it that you do in response?
Yeah, so Jessica is going to put her, like, she sees that, like, so Jessica has fought. She, like, beat up those army people that came at them in the barn, and she's been in a few fights, so she knows a little bit more. And I would say her reflexes as well are a bit, heightened, I guess. She wants to purposely put herself in front of Meredith's fist. Like, she knows that Meredith is gonna miss and not do a very good job. She wants to put herself, like, angle it so that she gets clocked by Meredith.
What? I love it. It's so smart. Take care of this
It's because you only beat her by a couple.
Yeah.
It's enough that it almost looks like you wrongly interpreted where she was going to throw the punch. So it's pretty convincing. and she hits you dead center, right on the nose. And if you've ever been hit in the nose, even by, not by a hard punch, like by a toddler, it's enough to make your eyes water.
Oh yeah.
And do you play up your reaction to getting punched at all?
Yeah, 100%.
So as you grab your nose and are reacting to this punch, Meredith stands there for a moment, and then she just says, "Now we're even, bitch."
Like, you see, yeah, I mean, Jessica's like holding her face, and like her nose isn't bleeding, but she doesn't want Meredith to know that, so she's like cupping it. And underneath Jessica's hands, you can see her kind of smile at that. That was the exact reaction that she wanted from Meredith.
And Meredith turns and walks away. Roll me a D100 real quick.
God.
94.
63. That's like 30. Meredith left the $20 bill lying on the ground.
Hey!
Oh, sick.
And that's
Meredith's rich. She's not gonna miss that.
That's gas money for like 2 years in Paradise.
1985.
I know,
In
that's a lot of
Paradise,
money.
in 1985 in Paradise, I would dare say gas is probably like 79 cents a gallon.
Oh my god.
So yeah, you got gas money for ages. You got enough for gas money, pizza for the whole gang at Maniacs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, pizza's on her.
There we go.
Yes, there is a gas station. You took a bus there.
There's gonna be a rumor that Jessica's in a fight club. It's like all of a sudden she has all this money and then a broken nose. Like,
It's too bad she
Whoa.
can't talk about it.
So I did the inflation cost. $20 in 1980 is like $70 today.
hey, there you go.
That's
So
wild.
with that ends Jessica's scene, as I need to check the class schedules because Coop is up next.
It's fourth period, Jacob. Coop is in gym class. You know
With-
who else is in that
with
gym
Oak.
class?
Oh,
Just to make your life that much more fun.
The little
The
Oh.
boys.
playing
So
with the boys from Top Gun starts playing.
so I'm gonna put Oak and Coop together to tell me what's going on in gym.
It doesn't matter because Ironsides has a different thing going on, right? Than what Chakiti does. Brenda Ironsides,
Yeah,
the
but
other
what-
gym teacher.
What do you mean by a different thing?
Because I'm pretty sure you had already said that what Jim was doing this week. I don't remember. Somebody kickball or something.
Oh, probably kickball.
I have no memory of ever specifying what Jim was doing this week.
Anyways,
No,
it
that
doesn't
doesn't-
matter because I'm changing the rules. It's
Changing the
what is
narrative. Let's go.
changing the rules. It's freaking table tennis week.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Love it.
You know what I'm talking about.
I don't. We never played table tennis in school.
What?
Dude, you missed out. It's
No,
the best.
it was dodgeball, it was wrestling, and it was weightlifting.
Yeah.
And occasionally it was, let's go out to the football field and we'll do free sports where all the jocks can show off for everybody else.
Well, to paint a little picture, table tennis week at schools is very much like going to a school dance, wherein a school dance in the 90s wherein there are exactly like 3 people who actually know sick dance moves and everybody else is just standing off to the sides. That's table tennis right there. 2 people know exactly what they're doing. Everybody else is just fetching balls all over the gym all the time.
Are either of those 2 people Coop or Oak?
Oh no! What is it? I don't know what Oak's business is, but Coop is a ball chaser. I regret the words as they come out of my mouth.
Like
I got Jeremy though! Yay!
You're like, he's a ball chase. No.
The word, I just see the word Coop with 2 ping pong balls for O's.
There's the shirt.
It just says Coop ball chaser.
Oh my god.
So
Incredible.
during what about Oak? What's Oak's table tennis status?
I think, like, I don't think he has had a lot of experience with table tennis, but I think he picks it up pretty quickly, right? Like, he very early on in the class, it's very like, I have no idea, I'm just flailing wildly, and then like by mid-class you can see that he's actually like got the rhythm, he's doing the calculations, and
let's let the dice decide how well you pick it up.
Sure, I'm 100% about that.
I hope you roll well, man, because
I hope so,
Coop's
too.
gonna be looking at you like,
what is your flight?
My flight check die?
Flight die.
My flight die is so my flight die is a D10.
Okay.
So what am I rolling right now?
Yep, you're rolling your flight check.
Rolling the flight die. Okay, flight check. Flight check die.
I like that. Neofet dropped a C, 2 animated D20s, and a P in chat.
Oh!
That's awesome.
All right, so first time my D10 has exploded this entire game.
Lots of lucky breaks this session.
Yes.
Yeah, so we got I got a 10 on the D10, and then I got a 6, so that's 16 plus 1 because I get a plus 1 on my flight checks because of being a kid, so 17 overall.
So
yeah, man.
Yeah,
you're doing so well. Like people from the other side of the gym are like, wait, what's the little short kid doing? They're like coming over.
So, something I can relate to. I have very few moments like that from being a kid where people gathered around to watch what I was doing. There was a game in the 1980s called Karate Champ. It involved using 2 joysticks, and you had a red karate guy and a white karate guy that would face off against each other, and there were all these different combos you could do, and I was really good at that game. And when we went to Cedar Point one summer, I went into the arcade, because of course you do when you're in an amusement park. You spend an hour in the arcade.
Sure.
And I was knocking down kids left and right. Not literally, but as they would put their quarters up and play against me. For like 45 minutes, I was playing Karate Champ and beating everybody. To the point where nobody's paying attention to the scrawny, nerdy kid at first. But by 30 minutes in, there was a crowd of people that were starting to gather around. It was like
awesome.
10 or 12-year-old Jakes, just the closest I ever came to one of those sporting moments. And the only reason I didn't keep going was my dad came and dragged me away. But that's what's happening in this game. Is at the start, most people are doing whatever, and by the end, one of those 2 kids that's really good is Oak. Oak just picked it up, and like you said, Oak, you've sort of figured out the calculations, and you're seeing it not so much as a game, but you're seeing it as how you can inflict speed and inertia and angles and put English on the ball and
He's holding the paddle like a freaking chef's knife
doing-
already instead of like
you
a
found
lollipop.
the optimal grip,
Oh yeah,
and you're doing
Yeah.
that thing where you go like this.
it's like
Yeah.
mechanical. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just
Because it's-
bang.
Yeah, you figured it out. And what's more, because of your leg braces, you're not as mobile,
Right.
but you figured out how you don't have to be as mobile.
They watch as like I'm not having to move like that far
You've
away from the
developed-
table.
In fact, you've developed
Yeah.
this thing where normally you would have to shift really far, like to your offhand side, that you
Yep.
can switch the paddle between hands very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time that the ball seems to fault is when your opponent misses it. And that's when we see, from the sideline, we see Coop to go chasing after one of these balls. And
Oh
we
my
hear
God, I
that
love
sound
this stuff.
on the gymnasium floor, that sound of a ping pong ball, that Coop, you go chasing after one of these, and it's a ping pong ball. They suck to try to pick up, because if you whiff it, it just goes rolling. And this particular ball, as you're going after it, ends up going towards the corner where the entrance to the locker room is. And you're sort of crouched over doing that thing. You're trying to get the ball, and you kick it, and it goes forward a little bit. And all of a sudden, a foot goes and kind of just does the little stop on the ball. And as you're reaching for it, the foot goes and crushes the ball.
What a dick.
The foot is very large, fuzzy, and kind of looks like a hoof. And as you look up and we see your POV, you are looking up at the Bucky mascot costume standing before you. Nobody is
Oh.
supposed to be wearing that costume but you.
Yeah. What's even more puzzling is that this person appears to be very big, and that costume's already been sized for me. Little man.
Well, it was more big from the vantage of you being bent over or crouched over, and as you look up, it's still whatever size it was for you, but it's still a giant deer head, and it's a mascot, even if it's a slightly smaller one.
Coop just looks up and goes, "Oh wow, you better not let Coach Chiquiti see you in that. He'll like have a stroke."
As you look forward at this person in this costume, you see that below the snout of the Bucky face is that sort of mesh area where your face would go. And looking into that, you realize you only see darkness. You don't see the vague silhouette of a person inside there.
Oh God.
Well, we don't like that. Coop's just gonna stand up, back away, turn around, and quickly
Make a flight check.
go back to where a lot of other people are, mostly because he's more afraid of Coach Chiquiti accusing him of taking the suit out than he is of whatever's in that fucking suit. So he wants to make sure everybody sees him outside of the suit, so they know it's not
I
him.
just don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, right.
He's
What
running back.
check
It's not
are
me.
you?
You're gonna make a flight check. What are you rolling?
Oh,
A D10.
here I go. Back to the ping
Plus
pong
one.
table. Me, Kenny Cooper.
D10 plus 1.
A D10 plus 1. That's a 6 on the die, so that's a 7, and I'm going to use my star for a 9.
Oh, that was almost an 11. It rolled over to a 3. As Bucky reaches out and tries to grab you,
Oh,
and you get away, and you go running back towards the rest of Jim.
It's like the intro to Scooby Doo, where Shaggy's like going and the hand's like.
Yep.
Yes, it is. Oh my god.
Pew.
But yeah, Coop's just like walking fast, like nope. Hey, look at Oak go! Go Oak! Go Oak! I'm Coop! You know.
You very quickly get back over to where the table is. They've already got another ball in play. And this gym, where these tables are set up sort of along this wall section, far enough away from the wall, obviously, that you can play. This particular wall under the basketball hoop, there's a row of doors. These are the doors that lead to sort of a vestibule type area, and then there's the doors that go outside. This is where, for people from outside to be able to come in, vice versa. It's where they load in equipment, stuff like that.
Where all the trophies are.
Where all the what?
The trophies that the schools won.
And a couple of those doors are propped open to let some of the cooler air in. Oak, as you see Coop come over very quickly, and without the ball that he went chasing after, you're sort of in the middle of this point, and you look up as Coop sort of enters your line of sight, and Coop seems to almost deliberately maneuver himself so that he's standing right next to Coach Shakiti, who's just standing there, arms crossed. He's wearing the polo with the Paradise Academy crest and his whistle, and he's just standing there, arms crossed, and he actually seems to be quite engaged in this game, surprised by your activity. And then there's this sort of rack focus, Oak, as Coop and Shakiti get blurry, and in that vestibule, from behind one of the doors, you just see this giant animatronic mouse head go. And then it goes.
Ooh.
Dude, I think between the two things of Coop running like in a very panic, like kind of like speed walking in a very panicked motion, and the fact that like my line of sight kind of moves off in following his direction, watching where he stops at Shakiti, and then like also following off to the side of where the vestibule is and seeing that, it's distracting me. Like I have fully turned my head at this point, and I think at that point is where I'm like one of the first times I might miss a volley in maybe this entire match. Like the first time I miss a volley back because I've completely slacked my hand and like gotten curious and I want to investigate, but I'm also terrified now as well. So there's like two things going on. I want to check in on my friend, but holy shit, what is that over there?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know that you see the rat, and I hate to pig pile onto you, but if you happen to look over at Coop, he's gonna try to catch your eye and be like,
Oh god.
and he's pointing not in the direction of your rat, he's pointing back the other direction.
Mm-hmm. Oh my
Amazing.
god. Okay, so that's great. No, that's great because I think he'll look and he sees the rat animatronic, and immediately like you could see his face kind of get pale and just like there's a pit in his gut, and then he'll go back trying to like regain control, see you do the same exact motion as the rat and be like, look this way, and I go looking that way. What do I see when I look toward the Bucky costume?
Nothing.
Sorry, nothing.
Oh,
But
god.
when you look back at Coop, you see copyright distinct Charles E. Chase standing there in the vestibule, and then from behind him you see Bucky. lean over
They're
as
multiplying.
the ball that you missed for the first time in quite several games goes out towards the center of the gym. There's this moment where people are surprised that you missed a point, and then Coach Shakidi looks around and then kind of looks down and just puts his hand on in the middle of your shoulder blades, Coop, and just pushes you forward and says, "Ball." And he's pushing you towards to do your job and go get the ball. Do you go, Coop?
Ball boy, like, but
You've
yeah,
established yourself as the ball boy, and that's now how Coach Shakidi sees you.
You were doing
So-
such a good job.
So yeah, you said that the ball went rolling over towards freaking where all the scary is, or somewhere
No.
else.
Opposite direction, because Oak missed the ball,
Okay.
so it went bouncing towards the middle of the gym.
Coop just sighs and starts doing his little truffle shuffle after the ball.
Coop
I think
It's
passes.
his
that-
life now.
Coop kind of shuffles past you, Oak. What do you do?
I think at that point, if I can, Oak's gonna try to call a timeout, like, and walk with Coop
Did you see it? Did you see it?
if he can, if Shakidi will allow it.
You turn around, regardless.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And-
turn around and
You both walk the 20 feet or so towards the
start
ball.
walking away. Okay, please tell me that you saw something.
Yeah.
Anything.
There's a what is it? There's like a scary Bucky. Like right over there. And I turn and look where it was, and it's not there anymore.
As you
I'm
turn
like,
around,
or is it?
the gymnasium is completely empty. Except for the ping pong tables. Paddles sitting on top of the tables. And the animatronic mouse and the Bucky costume standing now on the side of the tables closest to the two of you. Everybody else has vanished.
Yeah, I see stuff. You?
Yep, I see it too.
What do we do now?
I think the only smart thing we can do. Run!
As you say that, you see the animatronic mouse, and you can actually hear the animatronics as it goes like this.
Oh, like he's getting ready to run. Oh my.
Oh,
And then
no.
it starts running. And you see as it does this, it does that where it puts its head down, and you hear that sort of.
Clank, 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 clank. Oh, gee.
Oh god.
And a second later, the Bucky mascot comes charging, this time with its head down also, but looking like a charging deer. And they are both charging towards the two of you. I need you both to make flight checks.
Oh my god.
Alrighty then.
Run fast, fellas.
Okay, kiddo, let's do it.
Yep. So that's a 6 on the die, and that's a 7 with my +1.
Okay.
Oh, I did not do so well. I'm definitely going to use my star to get at least, that'll be up to a 5. And I'm
Question.
definitely going to use some pops to push that a little bit more.
So
I have a
Um,
question
so-
for you, Jacob.
yes.
How cool do we think it would be, since it's still fall, with Coach Chikiti letting kids wear the Paradise Academy windbreaker inside when they're doing stuff that isn't super athletic, like table tennis?
I think Coach Shakiti does not give a crap. In fact, when asked at some point, he probably says, I don't give a crap. As long as you are wearing school colors, This is all that matters to me.
I don't know where this
Yes.
came from with Coop's D4 brain, but Coop whips off his windbreaker. What is it? Shoves one of the sleeves over to Oak and goes, Oak, AT-ATs.
Oh,
All
And
right.
he like starts running to the right of the gym while you run to the left, and we both
Like-
start pulling on the
Like,
wind.
we're gonna clothesline some motherfuckers. We're gonna
Yes.
trip them
So
Yep.
because we're little and they're big.
And they're biggos.
So
Yeah,
you
let's
got-
go. Let's go.
you got a 5, and Tamiko, you
I
got
had a 7.
7. So that's a 12 total.
Yep, 12 total.
freaking
They're
bad
sitting at
boys.
a 10. That's
Let's
only
go.
one of them.
The other one ain't gonna beat a 10. Oh,
But it
Ah!
explodes.
Oh, I scared my cat. Oh, I'm
Oh, no.
sorry, baby.
Beans.
Oh, beans.
So that's a 10 for
Some
Bucky, because he's got littler legs. And the animatronic mouse has a 19. So you realize your plan will only work on one of them, and you see that Bucky seems to be less coordinated than the animatronic mouse. So how do you take down the Bucky?
I'm gonna let Chad take this one
Okay. Yeah. So
because he's been playing mechs.
I think it does. I think it kind of works out this way where, I'm gonna do this so that I can potentially try to save. I don't know which side the mouse is running on. I imagine the mouse is running on my side, so I will narrate for Coop in this moment if that's okay with you, Tamiko. Okay, cool. All right, so we're running towards it. We're running towards them, like proud, like feeling that energy of like, yeah. And you can see that the windbreaker has been like basically pulled as tight as it possibly can. And as we're getting close, I think Coop sees that the mouse is in like right in the way. Full shoulder of an animatronic mouse is coming into my face here in 2 seconds. And then you pull like a tug of war. You pull the windbreaker slightly less taut so that I move out of the way. And then as we're doing it, like there's this Indiana Jones slide where we both get down on our legs and slide down underneath. And it clips underneath the hoof of the Bucky costume and sends it like up under.
As the Bucky costume gets tangled up in this windbreaker and stumbles forward, it hits the floor. And as it does so, the head pops off and goes spinning across the floor.
Oh my God, Coach Ironsides called it. She kept saying that the head would pop right off.
Poop, pop your head off.
And the empty costume collapses to the ground.
Oh.
I would like, in this quick moment, since we've got some big brain activity going on here, I want Oak and Coop to both make brains checks.
Okay. Three.
All right. All right, you got
No, that
Oak.
was not.
You got
That
Oak's
was
big
not very
brain
good
there.
for me. I'm a big brain, but I did not roll big brain because I am too scared to be big brain right
what
now.
did
So
you
I
end
rolled
up-
a 7. I rolled a 7.
7 and a 3
So-
is a 10. That's enough.
Bad at all.
Yep.
And I'm going to say this kind of occurs to you, Oak. If you recall, you spent time helping Coop try to understand the nature of this Nintendo Power Glove. And it was you who kind of figured out that this Power Glove gives Coop the ability to control electronics.
Oh.
What is an animatronic mouse? controlled by?
Oh yeah.
That's a great.
Wait, I know this one.
That was great. I feel like we were all just sitting there waiting for Chad to click on that one.
It
That was
starts with an
great.
E and it rhymes with electricity.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. That was awesome.
Oh my goodness. I cannot.
Incredible.
Game tonight, guys. Okay.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think in that moment he's gonna look to Coop and be like, "Hey!" And I know it's not the right game, but the first thing that comes to mind is he goes, "Coop, duck hunt!" And makes the power glove.
Coop aims and pulls the trigger of the not gun.
Yeah.
Yes.
To
First,
see if
the first thing I
something
want you to
happens.
do is I
You
want
said
you.
duck hunt, man.
I did. I said duck hunt. Yeah. It's wabbit season, but duck hunt it may be.
The first thing I want you to do, Coop, is I want you to roll a D100.
Oh dear. Okay. 11.
There is what I was going to go with. There's a 20% chance that a thing is going to happen. If I roll a 1 to a... No, it didn't happen.
No.
So, you basically make a finger gun with your Nintendo Power Glove. And I would like you... No, I'm going to do this. Oh, no. So
Don't say that.
That one is the animatronic mouse's grit check.
Oh, suck it, animatronic mouse.
Yeah, usually
I would
kills
like
it.
you to narrate how you pantomime a Nintendo light gun with your Nintendo Power Glove and what happens.
Oh my god.
Coop, what is it? We just took down the Bucky and the Bucky's head popped off, as we keep hearing will happen to us someday. And we turn around and this mouse, this evil mouse is bearing down on us. And Oak just says, Coop, duck hunt. And Coop goes, looks at his hand, makes the finger gun, and actually holds his glove with his other hand and goes bang bang. He says bang bang as he shoots at the animatronic mouse.
And even though the D100 was against us, because the mouse rolled a 1, and I liked your description, and I'm the game master and I can do what I want, as you make that motion and you brace yourself, a holographic Nintendo light gun appears in your hand.
Oh.
And you make the shot. And it is absolutely 80s action movie over the top. The way this animatronic mouse goes and goes flying backwards. And you see gears and springs go flying out of its chest and out its back as it hits the ground, still in slow motion. And then it just freezes in place. Were you going to add?
Coop slowly lowers his gun, looks at Oak and says, I've never hit a duck. Not without being right up on the screen.
You know,
And there's this moment
that was 1 in a million.
where Oak, still down on his knees from the power slide, holding onto Coop's windbreaker, And Coop standing there, lowering this gun just as the hologram goes and fades away. You hear a whistle. Looking across the gym, all of the gym class is staring at the two of you. You look back, there's no animatronic mouse anywhere to be seen. Coach Shakiti blows his whistle again and is just doing that angry muscle man storm towards you with his short shorts and his polo. And as he's not even halfway to you, get it, Cooper! What is that doing out here? And you look, and the Bucky costume is sprawled across the floor. And that's where we're going to end that scene.
That is so
That was
great.
that was epic.
Oh, my
One
God.
thing I didn't want to happen. One thing, Jacob.
As soon as you said it, I'm like, I know how this scene's going to end.
I love it. Take the shot.
Laz,
Amazing.
Yes.
you left class because you were told the vice principal would like to see you.
Yeah.
So where do you go? Do you actually go to Dr. Sharp's office?
I don't want to see that asshole. Yeah. Yeah, he'll go. It's raining. He doesn't really want to go outside.
You show up in the school office, and Miss Adams is at her desk, and she kind of looks up as you enter, and she looks up at you, and she immediately does a sideways glance to Dr. Sharp's office door. And she kind of looks at you with a puzzled look, and she glances down at her something on her notes, kind of shakes her head, and she looks at you and says, "Is there something you needed?"
Dr. Mr. whatever, Professor Algernon said that Dr. Sharp wanted to see me.
She gives you kind of a puzzled look, and then she grabs the phone, presses, it's one of those sort of weirdly, it's that tan that's almost like a flesh color for some reason. Very popular in the 80s.
I believe that's called bisque.
Okay. And she presses one of the buttons, and it lights up, and you can faintly hear the phone beeping on the other side of Dr. Sharp's office door, and then she just says, "Lazarus Eccles is here to see you." Okay. You can go in and see him. She hangs up the phone.
Ray, he says, kind of under his breath, and kind of shoulders his backpack again, shifting its weight, and makes his way towards the door. What is Dr. Sharp's first name again?
Devin.
Devin? Okay, cool.
Oh, God.
You
As
see
he walks
it,
in, he
you
says,
see it in vinyl letters. Dr. Devin Sharp, Vice Principal.
Perfect. He opens the door and he says, "You wanted to see me, Devin?"
At this point, Dr. Sharp doesn't even flinch at you calling him Devin. He's used to this. Do you take a seat at one of the chairs in front of his desk? Do you sit on the couch off to one side?
Oh, there's a couch?
When you first walk in the room, it's one of those, it's kind of like a waiting room couch, it's got the chromed silver like tube steel frame, and then this sort of black faux leather cushions, not super thick, not designed for comfort, but
that doesn't dissuade Laz. He lays down on the couch.
Mr. Eccles. It's not enough that it's a rainy Monday. That now you're just sending yourself to the vice principal's office?
And myself. I told her the same thing I'm going to tell you. Algernon said that you wanted to see me. You didn't ask to see me?
For a moment, he glances out towards the other room, a flicker of a scowl, and looks back at you. Mr. Eccles, it is with almost 100% certainty that I can tell you there is virtually no situation in which I want to see you. In this particular instance, I did not request your presence in my office. What was that name you said? Al who?
Algernon. It's from some book. I don't know.
Daniel Keyes' Flowers for Algernon. I'm familiar with it.
Oh, yeah, that's the one.
What does that have to do with you being in my office?
The teacher, substitute, named Algernon, said that you wanted to see me. So that's why I'm here. Not like I wanted to come hang out with you either, Devin.
What class are you supposed to be in?
Chemistry, Mr. Bunsen, but he's not here. So, substitute.
He gets up and crosses over to the door, opens it up. Miss Adams, does Mr. Bunsen have a sub today? Not that I'm aware of.
Just shut up.
Do we have a Mr. Algernon on the substitute call list? She reaches into one of her drawers, pulls something out, flips through some pages. There's no Algernon on this list. I'm not sure what game you're playing, Mr. Eccles, but I don't find it funny. If your goal was to waste my time, you're succeeding.
Look, that's where I came from. I came from chemistry because the substitute told me that you wanted to see me. His name's Algernon. That's what he wrote on the board. If you don't want to believe me, then you don't have to believe me. But I didn't come down here for a good time.
I need to check his. 14. He scowls, but he's actually not scowling at you. Mr. Eccles, please return to class. I will figure out what's going on with this Mr. Algernon. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. And you realize this is the first time in your time in this school that you have ever heard Dr. Sharp thank you for anything.
Yeah, I think that probably genuinely catches Laz like off guard, and he kind of like hesitates for a second. Yeah, no problem. He kind of gets up off the couch and picks up his backpack and kind of looks at Sharp like a little weird. And then he heads out. I don't think he's going to go back to class, though.
Where are you going to go?
Is there a part of the school inside that is dead during fourth period?
Typically, the Macbeth Auditorium.
Oh, perfect.
Oh.
Yes, absolutely. He's going to
Up
go
on
to
the
the auditorium.
catwalks.
Especially
Yes.
if you get up to the upper floor to where the catwalks and you get up into the catwalks and lighting rigs.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is way before like cameras and smoke alarms were like prolific. So he's going to go up in the rafters and smoke.
Yeah. You make your way to their to that area. There's nobody in there. There's the lights are coming from the exit signs, and then there's lights that run along the auditorium aisles. It's where most of the illumination is coming from. So when you're up sitting on this catwalk, legs dangling over the edge, cigarette, most of the light is coming from underneath you, and then the light of the cherry of your cigarette. Roll me a grit check, please.
It's an 8. Yeah,
You-
I'm gonna let it ride.
You know how sometimes if you stand up too fast, you get a little dizzy and you see little, I always call them fairy lights, but you see those little motes of light that sort of swim in your vision. Somebody please say you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I was a little kid, I
Dude,
called them
I get them all the
cameramen
time.
Cameraman?
because I could. Well, yeah, because like when you take a picture and a flash
Right.
goes off, you see the little floater. So
Yeah.
whenever I saw those, they
Oh.
were cameramen.
Carries the star in the center of a bunch of paparazzi whenever she gets dizzy.
Yeah.
100%.
I love
It's like, wow, this is great.
I mean, I'm not really. I think that's awesome. I'm not trying to sound like I'm making fun of you, as I just
Not
said.
at
I
all.
call them fairy lights. So, you see, but they're out of the corner of your eye. You see this almost bluish looking, and it's not like a bunch of them. You just see a couple, like. And as you turn your head, they don't move. And you see in the air, about 3 feet to the side, away from you, you see a jagged line where the light traced. It looks like a crack with just a thin bit of light, bluish light leaking out of it. And you realize that little piece of light trail, this crack in the air, probably about 18 inches long, and it crosses over part of the catwalk, and where the support structure hanging from the ceiling holding the catwalk up is. And as you see it, you hear boom as part of the catwalk lurches. I need you to make a flight check to hold on as part of the catwalk suddenly disconnects as this mote of light has severed one of the supports.
All right, let's go. That's a 6, and I'm gonna spend my gold star to make it an 8.
You are able just barely to grab hold of part of the railing as your cigarette goes and falls down to the ground below into the seats. But you are hanging, dangling from this catwalk that's now hanging like this, as you see another light mote And this time,
No.
we're going to roll a D100.
Oh no.
And I'm going to tell you that there is
Is
a
this the royal
40%
we?
chance that this light mount severs the other support.
Okay.
Oh shit.
This is you rolling or me or?
This is you rolling, and then I roll to see what the...
To see if it
Oh, got
matches.
it. Right. Okay. Right. Let's see. Got 71.
So if I roll between a 51 and a 91...
Yes.
Oh my god!
You watch as this light mote goes very slowly, almost as if it kind of moves like a child's hand with a crayon, and you watch as it comes very close on one of the downstrokes of this jagged line, moving towards the support. And then it goes one final one in the opposite direction, and you do not plummet 20 feet down into the auditorium seats.
Oh my god.
You are able
my
to
Happy.
pull yourself back up onto this gangplank, this catwalk, and drag yourself up into a part that's more stabilized. But you do see where those two lines have created cracks in the air. They are persistent.
Are they reachable from where I am?
The one that almost took out the support, you could get to it. It's going to involve you kind of at about a 40-degree angle on this damaged catwalk. Oops.
So I don't know if there would be anything up here that would be like loose. Are there any like safety cables for the lights and stuff
this is
that are up
classic. This is classic what you would expect to see when you're up in the catwalks. There's the ropes that hold the sandbags for the
there? Oh, beautiful.
even though you're nowhere near the stage, there's just like ropes hanging everywhere, and
right.
you know,
Okay. So yeah, I think that he kind of takes one of the excesses, like coils of ropes, and just kind of like takes as long of a section of it as he can, kind of like extend outwards, and he's gonna try to like pass the end of it like through this light line.
like you're just trying to cross the light line, or are you trying to go into
Yeah.
it?
Like
Okay, I see what
if
you-
it
I see what
acted
you're
like a
doing.
blade, like just trying to like swipe the end of the rope through it.
You reach out, getting as close as you dare. You unfurl about 6-8 feet of this, and you sort of almost flicking it like a towel towards the light beam. And at one point, it flicks up, and as it comes down, it actually catches on this jagged line and just sort of drapes across it. The light seems to have a corporeal presence in space, and it seems that you could deduce from that it's dangerous when it's actively cracking, but once the crack has happened, it doesn't act like a laser or anything like that as you
Okay.
pass the rope through it, or attempt to.
He kind of like stares at this for a second, almost like tilting his head a little bit like a dog to the side. Ah, this place sucks.
Where would you go after this incident?
I think he is going to wait outside wherever the gym class would let out.
So
I think he's going to go there.
I need one more D100 roll from you. I'm not going to tell you
Okay.
the percentage.
Fair enough. Okay. An 89. Pretty far away.
It's pretty far away the one way, but we roll over 100.
Oh, true.
So
Okay.
it is 24, 20. Wait, it's 14, 25. So you remove yourself from the catwalks. You climb down and you head towards the exit on the second floor where you enter into the auditorium balcony area. And as you're heading for the door, you spot something off to the right. You can just see it illuminated by the floor running lights that lead towards the door. It's a human body lying on the floor. You see in the darkness one of these lines, and you see on the angle of the floor the blood that is running along the floor. And in the light of the running lights, you see the face of Jefe. One of these lines has cut him in half. Rosie, what are you up to?
Ha! What hour is it?
What hour do you want it to be?
Honestly, like, we could kind of kill two birds with one stone if it was last hour of the day, because Jess and I both have PE at that time.
Perfect. It's sixth period and it's PE and yeah, what are you guys doing? We've already established that it's table tennis day.
Obviously, it's table tennis day. So, like, as Rosie is like getting dressed and is just happy to do something physical, maybe it'll take her mind off of all of the. And when she sees Jess, I imagine there's like a little bit of signs that she got popped in the face. What the hell happened to you?
Meredith punched me in the face.
Meredith Haas punched you in the face.
It's, you know, I wish it was Anne because she broke her hand, but
like,
Just-
Meredith Haas landed a hit on, I mean, anybody.
did
but
Rosie know? Sorry, did Rosie know that Anne broke Meredith's hand?
No. I don't think
I
so.
was trying to remember.
No, that
don't-
was a...
Sorry, I was
Private.
nodding at first there because in my head I heard, did Jessica know? I'm like, yeah, of course Jessica
Jess
knew.
knew.
And then you said Rosie. I'm like, no.
Rosie did not know. And so, yeah, she was just like, she's just kind of shocked because she knows Meredith is a little soft. And she's like, did you like try to move or like what happened?
No, listen, Meredith was giving me some real death eyes. She even tried to have Roberta punch me, which would have been a lot worse.
Shit. Yes, it would. Oh my god.
For
yeah.
comedy's sake, can we have that Roberta is also in this class and we see her
Roberta
just absolutely
just
annihilating
So-
the table tennis?
To further, just to further make sure you guys are seeing the same thing I'm picturing, it is a feminine version of Jorge Garcia,
Yes.
who plays Hurley on Lost. Not quite as heavy set, more stocky farm girl, but that's in terms of like the fuzzy hair and everything else. That's who's in my mind. Yeah, Roberta's holding what looks like a tiny paddle in her hands, and is doing surprisingly well.
Awesome.
Yeah. But Jessica looked back. Listen, it's something that Meredith needed to do, or else I think that things would have gotten so bad that I think she might have tried to kill me, which, I mean, she wouldn't have, but, like, it was getting... It's not cute, that look, so she needed this.
Okay. Well, like, I knew things were always, like, a little tense between you guys, but like,
I mean, that was until Anne broke her hand.
Yeah, I guess I'd be pretty pissed off about that too. Well, are you okay? I mean, pro tip, you gotta ice it 3 times a day.
You see, like, Jessica, she's like, I've never been, like, punched in the face before. She says as she's, like, gingerly touching her nose.
Yeah, don't touch it. Don't touch it too much. It'll just make it worse. That's awful, man. Well, let's play some ping pong. Let's just get our minds off of just everything here.
How was your day? She says that she looks concerned.
Not great, to be honest. You know, I just didn't sleep great last night, and then the whole thing at lunch you saw, and then I was working on my thing in Mrs. Whitman's class. You know, she gives out study guides when she goes out to have a smoke. And I was listening to this tape that I found, and Rosie, I imagine if they're still like in the locker room getting ready, she pulls out this tape, and she's like, and you know me, this is the side I played, and she flips it to the Never Play on Monday side, and it was weird, man. It was weird. There was like it was
actually
first it was just music.
As you open it up to show her that.
Oh.
The tape was on the Play on a Monday side. Play only on Monday.
Oh, play only on Monday side?
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is the first time you said you actually looked at the tape. So
sorry, yeah. So I would show her this side and I'd be like, anyway, it sounded like it was just music, and then there was like a person talking like to me, a woman, and it kind of sounded like me, but like older. It was weird. And like she told me stuff, man. You know the two Vicky and Victor. You know those. You remember? You know those two, of course. They're trying to kill their parents.
Wait, didn't Laz kill their dad or something? That's what TJ was telling me.
Well, I don't think he meant to. I mean, there was a whole thing, and it was his first time with the powers and all that. But yeah, the 2 kids are trying to kill their parents, and apparently it's one down.
You know, Laz should have gotten some money from them. They seem rich.
Right? I know. Exactly.
I'm surprised he didn't.
I know.
She like tisks.
Rosie laughs despite this very dark situation, and she kind of she's like, yeah, well, I mean, I don't think Laz meant to. I don't think Laz could like really hurt anybody like that, you know?
The Bangles, Just Another Manic Monday, starts to play from the tape as it starts up of its own accord. You can hear the Bangles, Just Another Manic Monday, coming through the headphones as you're sort of showing Jessica this.
I would just be like, it's fucking weird, right?
That's super weird.
It's all Monday themed.
Kind of useful though. They gave you some information.
Do you want to listen to it for a second? See if weird voice talks to you?
Jess shrugs and takes the headphones and puts them on.
And I am on my way out, and I'm like, I'll just tell Coach Ironside you're on your period, and I go out. I just go out, laughing to myself.
You put the headphones on and you hear Just Another Manic Monday from the Bangles playing.
Jessica kind of dances in the
it's a great song.
Change room.
And okay, that's what I was trying to find out. The full 3 minutes of the song plays. And as it gets to the end of the song, you hear click, that sound like somebody has just turned off a cassette player. You hear that room echo. And you hear a voice begin to speak to you. M, what do you tell Jessica? Meta knowledge.
Yes!
Ooh, oh my goodness.
It's hard to figure out.
I knew this was coming, and then I still am surprised and not prepared at all.
I am
briefly
shocked
thought
and
about-
devastated.
I briefly thought about Carrie. What do you tell?
I was thinking. I was ready.
Oh, let me think. What is something?
While Emma's thinking, Rosie is absolutely kicking ass at ping pong, and she's out there and just like trying really hard to get her mind off of all the bullshit. And I imagine that comes through in several very powerful forehands that go halfway across the fucking gym.
So what I'm hearing is we can look forward to eventually a Rosie and Oak playoff.
Rosie versus Oak playoff 1,000. I am so down for that. That must happen. That must happen.
Rosie.
Boy, this would be a great place
Well-
for an
well-
ad if I hadn't already done one.
Well, Emma's
Yeah, what's up?
thinking,
Yeah.
Rosie,
Yeah, take it in.
I would like you to make a grit check.
Grit. 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 6. You know what? I haven't used it yet. I'll use my star. I'll make that an 8.
Okay.
Very gritty.
As you are playing, at one point, you
I imagine Rosie is the only one who's like actually getting sweaty playing ping pong. She is very into this activity.
the ball is, you hit the ball to your opponent, who falls for your backspin trick, and the ball dive bombs into the net, but it rolls off to the side, hits the floor, and kind of bounces and rolls towards you. And as you quickly bend down to scoop it up, you see under the table one of these blue jagged lines, like somebody writing with light in the air. About a 2-foot jagged line just goes
Like on the underside of the table,
it's
or like
in the
floating
air,
under
in the air
Oh,
under the table.
shit. So I think Rosie is like looking at that for a second and then like drops down to one knee and is like looking closer at it. And I think she would probably like just reach out and like try to touch it. Like I think that's Rosie's first instinct.
You figure out what you're gonna say, Em?
I'm trying to think, because everything that M is wondering about
Is also what? Oh no.
If you would like, you can tell me what it is that you want more information about.
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay, I like that more. This scene keeps replaying it in my mind of like Dr. or the Sharp having the conversation about laying off of them for a while so that the iteration can go smoothly. So I want information on what triggers like another iteration, like what is, or if that's too like crazy amount of information, just like more information on what an iteration is.
So what you hear is your voice start telling Jessica, just pretend like you're listening to music, but I want you to listen to this instead. And you hear that sound of a tape player the tape button being pressed again. And you hear that sort of just brief run. So I think it's going to be, and it's Dr. Devon Sharp's voice, I think the best course of action is if we leave them alone for a while. No interference whatsoever. We've been operating at level 12 for far too long. It's straining. The iteration is it's going to be a forced reset if we're not careful. There's too many of them with too much power. The next voice you hear is Director Ashley Ravens. They weren't even supposed to have power to begin with. Why do they have powers? That's not even in the rules. That's what we're looking into. That's also not what's causing the iterations to strain. There's another influence. Somebody has found a way to hack into the iteration while it's running. We've had the engineers, I've had the engineers analyze the code. Somebody is running a Nexus OS underneath our OS. It's code between the code. They're running their own experiments. Ashley Raven says, "Do you know who it is?" I do. And they both say at the same time, Algernon.
Oh.
And that's when the tape stops.
Oh, man.
When I mean the tape stops, the actual Walkman tape stops.
Yeah. Jessica just kind of very slowly takes off the headphones and like shakes her head, and then immediately gets up and rushes out the door to find Rosie.
As you take off the headphones and you start to move, do you know what a snorri cam is? You've seen what is it called? The Darren Aronofsky film about the drug abuse. Jared Leto.
Oh, is that like
Jared?
when it's...
What's it called?
Oh, freaking Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream. It's that thing where the camera is sort of right in front of somebody and stays with them as they're moving around.
Yeah.
That's the camera shot we see. As you stand up, we see the camera locked on you as you are moving through the locker room, and we see sort of the light change as it gets a little bit dark, and then you open the locker room door and you head out into the gym, and for a moment we just see your eyes get wide, and then it's as if somebody takes that camera and spins it around, and it has a very slight fisheye. The gymnasium is in chaos. While you were in the locker room, several of these blue lines, these cracks, have appeared in the air. Rosie, you've actually, after you reached out to touch this one, almost imagine part of this happening at the same time we're hearing the voiceover of what was being, the M was playing for Jessica. You reached out to touch this crack, and that's when you heard a crash as one of the ping pong tables further down the line collapses. One of these lines has severed through the legs, and then you hear a scream as one of the students is suddenly on the floor. Their leg is still standing upright as a line has cut through their leg.
We're gonna have to call Hefe to clean up this blood. Oh wait.
Three of the students in the gym have lost limbs as cracks have cut across, and Coach Shakiti and Coach Shakiti and Coach Ironside they don't know what to do. Kids are screaming, and this is what you're seeing Jessica, as the camera sort of turns around, as you see this chaos, you walk out and you literally see, like from a war film, you see this senior girl sort of step forward. Most of her right arm is gone, and she sort of reaches down, hesitates, and then reaches down and picks up her severed arm.
Oh my God.
Kind of looks around like, and looks to you like for an answer. And it's as this chaos is happening, the camera starts to pan back through that open vestibule door, out through the door to the outside of the gym. And as we pan outside, we see a car go skidding across the road. A literal piece of the front end of the car with the engine, the front wheel, just cleanly severed. And we hear sirens in the distance, and we see one of the church towers slide off of the church, and we hear the crashing of the bell as it collapses. And that's where we're going to end the session. And as the session ends, it's not a fade to black. It's a jagged blue line.
Cuts across.
And that's the end of the session.
Shit. Oh no. Incredible.
I mean, that's one way to end an iteration.
Yeah.
I will clarify. This is not the end of the iteration.
It is a hard
I want
reset.
you to know when we return next week, you are still in this iteration.
It's
Remember, this was
on
called
the first day of school. It's gonna be like Groundhog Day.
This was called The First Cracks Begin to Appear.
He's getting cut in half here.
I had, as you guys know, I had something completely different planned for this session.
Oh my God.
I had to pivot late in the game, and even with that pivot, there was some awesome stuff that happened that I could never have anticipated.
Incredible.
And I'm pretty happy with how the session turned out. I'm glad you guys liked the meta level
That was
things
bitchin'.
happening.
That was cool.
I've never seen anybody do that in a game, and I've never done it in a game. And I introduced it several sessions ago when we did the switch over to Jeremy.
Right.
The sort of meta reference, the fourth wall breaking, and I was like,
I gotta bring it up. Tamiko brought this up in chat, but we were chatting a lot while you two, Em and Jake, were having the conversation about what they should do. Tamiko goes, it'd be wild if this whole exchange is what Jessica hears in the tape.
interesting.
So that conversation of what do you want to know? I don't know what I want her to know. Like that whole thing that would be cool.
F it. That's what happened. It's canon.
That's bitchin'. Hell yeah,
So
Tamiko,
in
great
addition to
idea.
hearing the, pretend, before you heard the pretend to continue listening, you heard that conversation between these two people that you don't recognize who they are, but we, the audience, recognize
Please
you.
tell
and
me. Please tell me. Em said Jake at some point during that.
I have no idea. You're the note taker. You'll have to.
I know. I'm gonna have to listen for it
Analyze the footage.
because that's a mysterious Jake connection.
It is.
Oh.
Jessica's like, that sounds like my bus driver.
Yeah.
I mean,
My mom's
like-
boyfriend.
if you look,
Gosh, this person isn't helpful at all.
if you look, it's literally Jake, the game master.
Yeah, it is. It sure is.
Jake, the game master.
It is.
It's been that way
I
the
said
whole
that in our
time.
chat.
No, that was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that.
very cool.
I tried to give you guys a normal day at school. I really did, and I just can't do it.
Did you try?
I did.
though?
I tried.
I don't think
I
you
tried.
tried that hard, really.
Listen, I'm not the one who made Chad roll on the D100 table
Hey.
and have him roll up
Hey.
Chuck E. Chase.
What class do you want to be in? Is this? Oh, what book are you reading? By the way, Death.
There was a moment.
Listen, this is what our
Gonna have yourself a little smoky smoke in the catwalk there, Laz? Okay.
Listen,
alright.
there was a very
Fine.
real possibility that Laz was going to be critically injured.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
you put yourself in the catwalk, and I had already
Oh, my-
decided that the cracks were.
All my
happening.
boyfriends break their legs. It was
I'm-
bullshit.
That's the name of your country album.
Yeah.
My boyfriends break their legs.
Third album.
Well,
Every-
I'll be damned.
All my
my
boyfriends
boy-
break their legs. Everybody thinks it's really me. I mean, you're the one with the
Misery,
baseball bat.
Absolute misery.
That's fair. That's fair.
Who's over here watching Misery? It's the best. Clank.
Whatever you're
So,
thinking about doing, don't do it.
There was a
Don't do
moment
it.
you started to ask a question to Miko, and you
I'm
referenced
sorry.
Chad, and I thought for sure you were going to make, for a third consecutive time, you were going to make Chad roll on the D100 table.
Oh, that's what I
in
thought too.
while in the midst of resolving a D100 roll.
I ain't making anybody roll on that table for a while. I feel real bad about Chadley.
Nah, dude, listen. I love it though because it just gives me more and more
Uh-huh.
to play off of. But like, when you paused there, I was like, I'm gonna have to roll again. I'm gonna have to roll again. But I didn't care. I was like, I'm gonna go with it, whatever it is. So I thoroughly enjoyed that.
I knew with the afternoon coming up that you two had gym together. I assumed you would stay together. My note literally says, as I was figuring out how to deal with everything, it says, Chucky Chase is now joined by ... Bucky! ! That's all I wrote.
Oh my god, it just occurred to me that Chucky and Bucky rhyme.
And then I wrote-
Oh, dear.
I wrote Meredith wants revenge, in parentheses, Roberta Warner. Very big. That's all I wrote.
I do have to say though, Coop, that was probably one of the best kills in the game.
Dude,
Yeah,
so
that
funny.
that whole thing, doing the
Amazing.
AT-AT takedown, and then the duck hunt
So good.
scenario, the cooperation
Dapper
between the
kill.
two of you,
So cool.
and just everything about that was just amazing. If I could choose,
Littles against the world.
that's like
Hell yeah, dude.
definitely top 5 scenes I would wish to see animated from this game.
I
Oh,
like to
man.
admit how if you hadn't said he had his hand up on his gun, I was thinking it'd be like that Olympian who won like
Oh,
was it
yeah,
silver
just
medal,
the-
had his hand in his
the
pocket.
side trigger. Damn.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. That guy was hella cool. Coop is not.
Coop's not that cool.
Coop's not
Coop's
cool.
not a Turkish marksman.
Correct.
Well, that was another amazing session. Glad you guys all enjoyed that. Tomorrow night, I forgot to mention this at the top. I was so busy hyping Jeremy. Tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/miniterrain is part of the final. Welcome to Hell, Michigan. The gang just took a secret tunnel over towards the lake to avoid the alien bounty hunter, and they just ran into the conspiracy theorist who lives in a camper down by the lake. So we'll see what happens with that tomorrow night in our final session of that trilogy. What a way to start heading out. We just got rated by C+ content. Boy, if there was ever a place for some C+ content, it's in our Kids on Bikes Paradise Academy, where we've definitely got some C+ students here.
C's get degrees, baby.
I'm just gonna throw out with that unlikely raid. I got a bingo.
Hey,
That's amazing. Right at the tail end. We
You
are
win,
about to head out,
Yes.
but thank you, C+ content, for the raid. Thank you for raiders who are giving us a follow. We appreciate that. We are a TTRPG, D&D, Pathfinder, and Kids on Bikes streaming channel. We are about to end, but I feel like since you all have raided into us, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fire off a raid to Looks like for David Blue. David Blue has been on the channel in the past. David Blue, some may know, I forget the character he played, but he was in Stargate. He was a part of Jasper's Game Week, played some games with us a couple times. He is currently playing Once Human. So as we prepare to head out of here, they did this thing where they changed it again. Oh, here we go. Get that triggered. So thank you, Raiders. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Or if you're watching, lurking quietly in the background, or you are watching with us on the VOD, we appreciate you. I want to say a huge thank you, as always, to these amazing players. Just every week, continuing to bring it. If you've missed any of our sessions, you can catch them all on youtube.com/mini-terrain domain. All of our VODs are there. Catch up with this amazing story or pick up with this current session. But thank you, all of you, Chad, Tamiko, Carrie, Jeremy, M. And though he wasn't with us tonight, he was with us in spirit, Ted. Without whom, this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream. You can say it with me if you want.
Hollywood.